Hi, I'm Kathy. Today we're working on an Australian Shepherd on my eyeglasses holder. And the colors we're going to be using today are black, white, which seems to be almost in every dog, but black, white. I've got a light gray and harvest green kind of color that we're going to lighten up with white. There's my colors and my typical brushes. 2 square, 1 firm bristle, 1 not so firm, and then 2 round brushes. Be using those. And my dog, unassembled. This is obviously the nose and the snout. These 3 pieces I will glue together and not paint. I'm gonna get ready to glue. And I like working on the body first. So I'm gonna work on his body. And I went ahead and sprayed some white flat paint on the front of his legs because they're going to be white. I almost wished I'd have done it on the lower part of his face, but I'll just come back with white on that and do that. So when I get to those 3 pieces. But on these, I do have the white and it covers up all the way down. So it's going to cover up the slot and it's only going to show up this much, and that's going to be white. So actually, the front part's done. Yay! All right, so we got the back to do and the body to do. And he is, I typically Google the dog breed and have all these pictures on the computer to kind of look at and go by for coloring and to do it the way that I want to do it. This little fella, he's got some white tips, where I'm putting white tips on all his feet, and that's just going to be a rough end. There, because I'm going to come back and paint over some of that. This is my most used brush. It is the square brush with, if there's any numbers on it, number 6. Shader is what it's called. This is my most used brush, even though I do use all 4 of those brushes at times. And kind of blend that color up just a little bit because it's going to be on his legs. And the same thing on his back legs. He's multicolored, so this should be a fun one. But his feet are bottom part of his legs, and it doesn't have to be even. There's not many dogs that are, completely symmetrical or even from one side to the other. So I know that somewhere around here, and of course this is a bit of a cartoon dog anyway. It's obviously not that realistic. It's for fun, it's to make you smile. All right, and we're gonna put him upside down while he dries. Look, I'm kind of bad about getting paint around the edges, but take a baby wipe while it's wet and knock off some of that. No problem. See there? Done and done. All right, I'm gonna let him dry upside down over there. And see, this is the back side of him. For the back side, it's kind of interesting. He has a black and white and gray, and on his underbody he's got some of that brown color coming up. So I'm gonna take some of this brown color. I've got white in my brush, so I'm just going to take some of this grain color, and because I just want a little bit lighter version of it. And I hadn't washed the brush or anything. The brush was dry when I started, and I'm just going to come in with some of this grain color. And go up. I usually do a base coat of the main color of the dog, but it's really kind of hard to do on this shepherd, so we'll see how he comes. But we're gonna put some of that color on his underbelly on both sides, because I want to get rid of some of that white out of here. Look. And then we'll come back just a little bit of the darker. And just put it in there. And this is definitely not a science. This is a trial and error and see how it goes kind of thing. And brush strokes are good because it looks, you know, looks like fur. Gives it some depth. And different colors together gives it depth. So don't be afraid to use the different, oops, I almost went in white, to use the different colors. All right, I'm gonna leave that right there for a minute and get back on this, let him dry over here. Get back on this body part. Now his back really is, and I'm gonna take off some of this color that's in here, but I don't want the brush wet, but I'm gonna have to because I need that brown out of here right now. So clean it and then dry it as best I can. And I'm really aggressive with these things sometimes. All right. So I'm gonna do a kind of a base with this gray color, and then I'll come back with some white and black over top of it to make the fur. His ears are kind of black, so I'm gonna leave that. And I even think there's some, maybe there's not, some brown that comes around the back side. But I'm just gonna kind of cover them with this gray. Filling all the little wood crevices. All right, now I'm gonna get some black and come in here his ears. Get these ears colored black. And I'm just gonna kind of brush into the gray. It's not really dry, so it's mixing a little bit, just fine. This dog really is mixed and mingled. So, all right, then we come in here and get the other ear black on the back side. And brush it into the gray part. It's intermingling. And there's probably, let me get some black strokes going on. Let's see here. I might have too much gray in that brush. All right, tap it a little bit and he really has no rhyme or reason where his markings are. So there's black spots. Yeah, you'll see that. That kind of come down into here. Do some markings there. And then, like I'm not changing, rinse and changing colors. I'm getting a little bit of white on to come back and do some white. A little bit more white color on here. Probably helps if it dries a little bit, but because there's almost a silver look, which I might break out the silver. There's almost a silver look to parts of his back. And I don't do a whole lot on the body because the face is where I like to focus on, but I like to get the colors to at least assimilate what they're like. Get a little fur looking marks up here. And the drier your brush, the easier it is to get hair look like. I'm gonna put just a little bit of white coming down over this brownish red color. And he is mingled up. Oop, that's too much, but his colors are just really intermingled. So get some brush strokes in there to kind of look like fur, and I do think I'm gonna break out the silver a little bit and give him a little silver. And I'm just gonna pull straight out of my lid, which I do a lot. But he just give him a little bit of shine. Because like I said, depth. The different colors just give it more depth. And I'm gonna try to do an after picture because after I paint, that was too much silver, see? But that's okay, because what I'm gonna do is, where was it? Right here. We'll come back with a little black and wisp over it. But like I was saying, it's really funny how after I finish them and then I put a clear coat on them, how the clear coat really brings out the colors, especially when you're using multiple colors, and it gives it depth. You know, when you see a black dog, black is not all you see. There's some silver, there's some highlights of the white, and this little fella here, I think that's good on his body. All right, so we'll put that aside, and where's the rest of the body? Here it is. And his tail is drying up here. All right, so we'll do the same thing here. He's got some, let me get this off. Get some of this red. I did it in a different brush. So I need some white and red to, and just bring it down a little bit around here. And there we go. Just give it some red there. And let that dry. Well, I'll go ahead and do the flip side because I'm going to need to get to the black and white silver colors. A little bit darker. But it's okay to have more than one color on your brush. You know, there. You might have a little bit more red that comes down farther on one leg. And get a little bit of that dark color and bring it in. Yeah, here, I'll dry that upside down again. I think I've got enough red on this one. I'm going to start with my black and white and silver now. I think on his tail, almost looks like a raccoon tail a little bit, but I'm gonna put some, well, look, it turned gray, which is fine. You know what? That's a great blended color. There's some white, and I might come back and redo. But then there's some more of that gray on the end of the tail, and there's gonna be some black in between. And put some more of this gray, which I guess I could have done it with just the black and white. But, and depending on how your tab fits in your slot, and this is a little trick that I've learned, which is paint sweat, but if it goes in easy, if it goes in too easy, like this one's actually tight, it fits perfect. So it fits perfect, fits like that. So if I put a lot of paint on that tab, it's gonna be harder to get in. And sometimes I don't even think about that, and I go back and end up sanding down that tab a little bit to take that off of there. But some dogs require more paint than others, so you just kind of have to see what works. And I really like the different, I'm trying not to put too much paint in that tab. The different colors that just kind of blend, that are already in the brush. Okay, and then he's got these black splotches, which he's here and here. And as I'm doing it, I'm just lifting up, which is probably why I need to come back with the white a little bit, but just lifting up so it shows little brush marks. But his fur is going back this direction, so I want to go back, you know, this direction, the dog with the fur, not the dog. And I'm gonna put it's got a lot more gray there, but let me get some of that out of there. I'm done with that red. Let me get some of that out of there and put bring some white into it. Again, I'm gonna go back here and blend it a little bit. I'll bring some of that white into it, and it's gonna mix because it's still a little wet, but that's okay, because this dog has got a lot of mixed silver color in it. So all right, I'm kind of good with that. There, maybe a little bit on his tip of his tail, because I didn't get that fully painted. So I'll put some white in there, mix it. Look. All right, he's there, but then let that dry while I work on this, and I'll do a flip over and give that base color of the gray. I'm just gonna bring it down a little bit into the brown red color and lift up on the brush a little bit as I'm stroking really fast. It's fur, and there's no exact right wrong. Bring in my, it's too much because I really like dry brushes, but I want to bring in this black color. Brush down a little bit back there, and heck, and bring some down on this ankle a little bit on this side. A little different. All right, now get some of this black out so I can get back to the white. And I just get the smallest amount just to make the fur. And sometimes I have to, and it, like I said, it blends because he has a lot of gray silver look on his back coat. All right, there, done and done on that side. Let that dry. I'll flip this side over. I want to do some of the same so it comes out. So I'm going to need some black over here in his tail. I guess I should have done the gray base coat first, but that's okay. Black in his tail here and here coming up. Give him a little bit more black on this side. And we'll come back with this gray and like I said, I'm not going to put too much on the tab because it fits so well. You want it snug so you can, I ship them flat and have the customer put it together. So it should be able to slide in, but be snug so it stays. The customer does have the option of gluing it once they get it, but it ships so much cheaper flat than it does put together, and there's less chance of breakage. Obviously, that's important. All right, get that coat. You get some of that black color in there. If we're going that way. So
Samson Diesel Show.
A little bit into here.
You got a mess.
And I'll come back with the white. Get some white and gray, silver looking all together. His really mixed coat. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit into his belly. I might put some more black in his belly. But let me get this here. And black on top of it. Because some sides have more black than others and more of the white. And, all right, it's looking good. I think I need some white. I see some wood there. Come back with that white, turn gray, but that's fine. All right, that side, and finish this side of the body. Get that gray on here. My base coat again. Bring it down. Into the legs. Good. Take some of that gray out and put some black in. I'm gonna try it just a little bit, but I'm gonna put there. That's fine, but I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit there. And maybe this little fella has some black on his foot. All right. Get that paint off. And I use the paper towel until I can't use it anymore. I'm gonna come back with the white and put some white in here. Like I said, it'll blend to, if it's wet, the wet parts will blend. Oh look, I stuck it right back in the black. white I said. Dry parts won't blend, wet parts will blend, so you'll get that mixed gray color. And when you first put it on, you'll get the white color, and his color is so mixed. It's really okay. You can see all these colors in his coat. Really some more black patches. So I'm gonna put a few black patches in his body, a little bit more of that. That maybe show up a little bit more. And you do it on both sides. So flip him over. Where is he at? Over here. Try to match that up just a little bit there, and his buttocks a little bit. All right, and we'll let that dry, and we'll prop it up a little bit and get a little bit of black. Some more of the black solid markings. All right, because he is a bit speckled. All right, there's my body. We'll set that aside. Here and here, and let it dry. And now the fun part, the face. All right, so I really need to clean this brush because I need white. And I do keep a brush cleaning soap. I got a travel soap holder, and this is literally a bar of brush cleaning soap. And use it and brush it out. Sometimes it needs to be cleaned more. Better than others. My brush is coming apart. I'm gonna have to get me another one. All right, that looks good. And I got this red off of this one. I need to dry it out so I can use it again when time comes. And we'll get some intricate painting on the face. So, but first, he clearly has a lot of white in his neck area. And, you know, sometimes I sand them down, but a lot of times the char that the laser gives it, that hair there, it gives it a nice shadow on the dog. And, you know, white's the only color that you really have to worry about it. But, because you've got brown dogs, black dogs, all that gets covered up. But the char kind of gives it and you don't have to worry. You know, here as we're getting staying in the lines, but the char gives it a nice little shadow, natural shadow to it. And get his whole nape. Is that what it's called? A nape? But it goes up under his chin, this white part, but it's all fairly white here. So that char doesn't bother me on these, and it saves time by doing it. I really want him pretty white down here in the neck, nape part. Nape? Maybe. Anyway, down here. All right, and then around his, which this is going to be covered up by his muzzle here. But it's white all the way up, which is why I put these score lines. He's a lot of them. Now, a lot of them are different, but a lot of them are white all the way up this little line, and they start blending some colors. So I'm going to bring his to right about there, and then I'm going to bring some more colors in there. But it looks funny to begin with, and till you get it. There's Santa Claus, till you get it all done, get it all in there. All right, let me take the white off the brush just with the paper towel. And use this other brush. It's got this golden color. Yeah, we'll call it a golden color, but let me get white on it first. But it's really kind of mixed. So I'm going to get some lighter color of it, which is, you know, feeds well with the wood color. And it comes, you know, kind of up under its eyes. And I'm doing the lighter color, and I'm going to come back with it a little bit darker and give it some first strokes. If I can get it to brush on here. All right, and like I say, it's okay that they're, you know, different colors in the brush, because the fur has different colors. Let's see. So I came lighter, and where else is it? And it's kind of, I'll come back with the small brush and get it, because it little eyebrows are that color too. So now I'm going to get just a little bit of the darker color and tap it out to get some strokes going here if I can. And I'm going to stroke it. I'm going right back to the same. Stroke it over top of the white as it comes down. A little bit more. And you really just get the smallest amount, and that was way too much. Smallest amount, and then just tap it out. And bring it up here like this. And get a little dab on there and just whisk, whisk, whisk. I don't know what you call it. And there you go. Just blend it over the white a little bit. I really want a little bit more of a, the other brush does better on this, but I want to use the color. There we go, just a little bit over top of the white, past that line. All right, and so now, other than the eyebrows and touching up, we're done with that color. So his ears have a lot of black in them, so I'm gonna go ahead and blacken his ears. Well, got a lot of white in it. Go ahead and blacken his ears. Come up to the line. Now this I want to try to keep a little bit more in the lines. Okay, but then just bring them up over the fur that's sticking up, around the face, because around the face he's got more of that blended silver, and I really want it to stand out against the black ears. All right, get this other ear. Other ear black. Up close to it. And I'm probably thinking more while I'm making this video than I typically do when I'm doing a dog or animal, creature, whatever by itself. But anyway, so my ears are really black, and I kind of want them to have black up under this eye. So we'll put a little bit of splotchy black there, and a little maybe over here in the corner of this eye. Okay, and then I'm going to do this a little different than I did the back. I'm going to put some splotchy, and he is so blended. This is probably one of the more difficult ones, but I'm just working around his eye, putting some of this black color in. And we'll come back and it's up and down. This eye kind of divides where the fur is going to be, but I'm going to wipe that just a little bit and come back with some white, and it's going to give me that silver color. I definitely could use a smaller brush in here to make it easier. I'm just so fond of this stupid brush here that's going to wear out on me. And then up in here, he's going to have some different colors. And I'm going to come back with the black and the white again and do some blending, or not blending, but some markings, because this is, you know, this is blending now, and I'm trying to get the wood, which is why I usually do a base color, but I'm trying to get all the wood color covered up at the same time I'm doing this. And just the smallest amount of paint will get what you need on here. All right, I still got some wood coming through, but that's okay because he has that color in his body, in his coat. I'm going to do some white, just white strokes. Oops. Up in here, and bring that white up there, but some white strokes, because I'm going to come back with black and put some more black back in it. So got a little bit of black and white under this eye, make them a little different here, and this almost is just a patch, doesn't blend. So that's how I'm going to leave them there. It's a little bit of white to stand out here over the gray. All right, and clear that off and bring some more black back in. And just, you know, the smallest amount on the brush, because I really want some fur to come out. Oops. So the smallest amount, and there it comes loaded. But this dog is so, the Australian Shepherd is really so mingled. It's okay that you get the blend that you get like this. And you can, you know, you can come back with some more white if it's too much black there for you. And I think on one of his ears, I'm gonna need a little bit of white. He's just, you know, just got a hint of and it's completely dry, so you're going to get more of the fur strokes here. And you know, I might put a little bit, you get the smallest amount, a little bit on the tip of this here, just because they're different, they're not the same. And put some up here on this fur that's going up. And come back with a little black in here to mingle it just a little bit. There. Okay. All right. He's looking good, I think. He's got a little mix there, but that's okay. And we'll have to do the muzzle. You nuzzle a dog, but it's his muzzle that we're working on. And I'm gonna need some white around his muzzle. Then I'll come back in with the black, but I want to get some just good white here first, and then do the black details, because you really want to make sure that the pieces that you're putting on top come really close to the pieces you're gluing them onto to make it all cohesive. And score lines, and they show up. I really don't worry about, even if I color it in. Well, sometimes white, look at there. But that's okay. And I have a trick for that. Get this all white. And if it was on tape, it would be easier to paint. But I have this big hat pin needle thing that I can go around my score lines, or go through my score lines, and just take out the paint. It's no big deal. How many dog mouths do you see that are perfectly clean? Yeah, me either. I am going to just get a piece of tape and put his muzzle on and his nose, because you know I struggle with that. All right, so we want that to dry a little bit before we get back on there. But on this, just so you see, this one's got the score lines that are going to kind of hit where you place his muzzle. You want the white to come down here, the reddish brown really stands out, and then it goes into white. So I'm good with that. Put that there. We'll come back with the eyes and get this eyebrow color, which not all dogs have this very distinct eyebrow. Be a different color or whatever, but you can tell by their wrinkles and their fur and stuff. And it's okay if you go over a little bit. You can give it a little bit of fur look to it. And I'm painting over like I went over the lines with these other colors, but it's okay. I'm just painting right over it. And blend up a little bit. There we go. All right, good deal. We can start on the eyes. I really want to do this muzzle first. I love doing the eyes last. So on his muzzle, it's basically white. Let me get this tip really white if I can. And if you really want to get them white, do a white primer spray and come back and do a flat white spray, and you can get them really white like that. Okay, but now around his nose, which his nose is going to be black. Most, but not all, dogs have black noses. His nose is going to be black. And they're usually shiny, and we'll have some highlights on them. So maybe it's a little more gray or have a little white. But on the black brush now, I've just got some paint that's in here, and around his nose into his muzzle, which is almost a gray, but here around his mouth is black, and then around his nose, and it's a dry brush with a little bit of black on it, and I'm just tap, tap, tap. And it's gonna be around where his nose goes. That there's this, you know, fur that's a little black. And he's got his chin, lip area is pretty white, so I'm gonna leave that there. But where his nose goes, I want it black underneath there. So I'm gonna figure out where I want it. I'm gonna want his nose right there. So I'm gonna come back with the smallest brush and just paint inside it. It moved a little bit, but that's okay because I'm gonna take it off and then paint it so it's solid. Okay, there. So I'm just gonna paint that more black because it's black inside their nose, not white typically. So I'm just gonna paint it so it's black under there, mostly anyway. All right, there. And his lip is pretty black right around here. I'm just gonna give him a little black mouth there. All right, and that should be good, except that I'm gonna put him, which I'll highlight his nose when I go to highlight his eyes, but I'm gonna need that tiny brush for all this. Let that soak in the water a minute. All right, and let's get in here on his eyes, and it's got lots of score lines. I'm gonna get a closer picture of his eyes here for what I want to do. So he's got some black, and I know that they can have two different color eyes. I'm going to do on this one, I'm just going to do blue eyes, but there's a little bit of white around the edges, and just come in there with, you know, the tiniest brush and do a little bit of white around the edges, the corners, I guess. Okay, and I'm gonna do a little bit of white around his iris, because he's gonna have those blue eyes that just really stand out, and it's gonna stand out better over top of white. So I'm gonna do some white circles here as a base color for that. I'm sorry if I'm slow on this. I did the fast video and it was just so fast. The time lapse, you just couldn't. I mean, you could see the whole process, but it went so fast, there's no way you could learn anything from it. So you could skip through if you need to get through the video. All right, so we got him some white eyes there, but then he's got almost black around the edges. Put some black under there. Give him some eyeliner. A little bit of black. I know we're working tiny little things here. All right. I'll blend that a little bit. And then his pupils are black. So we'll go ahead and get them a solid black pupil there. Hopefully they'll be dry when I go to put the blue on. right. All right, and since I want his eyes to stand out, we're going to use a couple different blues. I've got, was this like an aqua blue? And I just need a dot of it, of each one. And then I want a darker blue, and I'm gonna be using whites with these also, with this also. But, and maybe even some black, but I want this darker blue. And I might, yeah, like I say, I may mix some black in with it. But I want the darker blue to go around the edge of his eye. I'll probably come back in with some more black there, but he's kind of got a line of dark blue around the edge, and yeah, I'm going to fill in with some black down here. I don't think I did enough here. And the edges, and then I'll take some white and kind of blend that in a little bit. Okay, let me get just a speck of white and blend it in a little bit. And just got some in the corner, but then it kind of blends out. I knew, fella, your eyes would be more difficult. Sometimes you just have to use so little. All right, now we'll come back. Maybe I should come back with the gray, but I'm good there. All right, that's good. So I'm going to come back with that lightest blue and white, and you know, you got a small thing to work in, but it's white underneath, and this blue's really going to pop here. And get that wet. You know, I had put a little bit of dark blue around the edges. Now, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of the white on it and just bring some little lines in towards the pupil, so you get some multicolor there. And then I'm going to get a little bit of the dark blue and the light blue together, just to go. I need a little bit wetter than that, and they could be mixed, but just to go around the edges again. There we go, right around the edge of that iris. So a little bit darker, and make that pop. All right, and here we go with the other eye, with that blue over top of that white to really stand out. I hope I'm not blocking this with my help. That's white, that's not blue. Blue. Over top of the iris. Stand out. And while it's still wet, get a little white on your brush. And come back and do some lines. Just go towards and away from the pupil, And it is just the smallest amount of white. So you have both colors in there, and then we're going to go again for that mixed color, the dark blue and the light blue at the same time, just because we want to get some darker color. Oops, see, I think I went a little too far there, but that's okay. Look at this paint. I'm gonna brush back in the shape I want. It's gonna go right back over it. It's okay. There. I'm back with a little bit of white. Did I get it on there? Gosh, I don't think I'm getting enough on there. Here it is. I'm back with a little bit of white. Again. See? Everybody messes up. There's no perfection here. It is art. Alright. Now his eyes are popping. And what we're going to do, his nose, we're going to give him a little bit of highlight around his little nostrils here. On top, it might be shining a little bit. Okay, and he might even have a little bit of, I say shining, and just the tiniest little bit to brush across, because his nose might shine a little bit more than that. All right, so that's there, just enough for that. Now we're going to come back with the white, and you kind of want a ball of paint on the tip of your smallest brush. And where do I want this reflection? Because you just want a little light reflection, I think, right there, so it hits both the pupil and the eye. Oh, there, right in there. We're just going to get some light. All right, so like I said, when I spray it, it's going to come out, the colors will pop out better, and I'll show you a picture after, but I'll line that up there, line that up there, and that's what he's going to look like. Thanks, guys. I'll try to get a picture posted after that.